gentlemen, welcome to the OHL podcast. This is my co-host Shaun. I'm TG. Shaun, how you doing today?
Oh, doing great. Getting a chance to do a pre-record with you and little Buckeye Lounge pre-record today. So not live
Yes,
today like some people would like we usually are, but we're just kicking it.
yeah. And this one we're gonna talk about the clown himself, Paul Finebaum, talking some big mess about Ohio State, which I'm trying to figure out. Why are you talking, you little, you little scum, you little big-eared, nose-browing, idiotic moron? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Are you that jealous of Ohio State? Is that what this is? Jealousy?
I mean, he must be still butthurt that his Alabama Crimson Tide didn't make the playoffs. Now he wants to try to say we're not going to make the playoffs, a 12-team playoff. I mean, we'd have to have multiple injuries for that to happen. I mean, hell would basically have to freeze over. The devil would be in a Carhartt. I mean, and ice skates before that happens. And
Yep.
I even think even if Julian got hurt and we have Lincoln Keyholtz in there, I still think we have enough weapons for him to make the playoffs to get enough wins to make a 12-team playoff.
Oh, absolutely. If you ask me, it's like, dude, if you look at the history of Ohio State, if the 12-team playoffs existed from the 2000s all the way to now, we really don't miss that many playoffs. I think the most we miss is like two.
I think that one year that Luke Fickle was coached, then there might have been another year probably 01 that and 2000 they miss. I would probably say 3, maybe 4 at the most. If you went from 2000 to 20 to where we're at today, I would say probably 3 or 4 at the
3 or 4 would probably be at the utmost, probably. But
on this
I
field.
like because I mean the Luke Fickle year is obviously the one I was looking at because it's like we went 6-7, so there's no way in heck we were getting there. But it's like I know there is another year under Trussell we ended up going like 8-4, so it's like, but you
He,
never know.
I think he lost 3 games, maybe twice. I'm not for sure though. I'd have to go back and look, but I know in 2000 was Cooper's last year, and they weren't very good. Then, I mean, they still had a winning record, but I think they won 9 games. And 01, I think they only won 9 games, but they did beat Scum, and that was Trussell's first year. So
Mm-hmm.
then after that, I think you'd have to look at the Fickle year for sure, and then maybe, like I said, maybe there was another year in there with Trussell where they wouldn't get it, but I would be. I'm not sure because I'm not looking at the stats right now, but I would say probably 4 times in the 2000s.
Yeah, well, I bring that up because it's like Bama ended up missing the 12-team playoff after losing to Oklahoma, going
And
nine and
Vanderbilt.
three
They
against Oklahoma, getting smacked around. By the way,
they just didn't get beat. They got dominated that game. That was
right?
domination. I mean, they got. I mean, Brent Venables. I mean, he's not. One thing you can say about a guy is he's a great defensive coach. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's a great defensive coach, and that defensive plan that he put on against Bama was awesome. I mean, that was just.
It was.
I mean, he out coached Colin DeVore. I mean, they outplayed Alabama. I mean, Alabama, if they win that game, they're in. I mean, their playoff
Right.
were on the line right there. You'd think there would have been a sense of urgency, and I think that really, with that loss and the loss to Michigan in the bowl game, that kind of doomed Jalen Milroe stock big time in the NFL draft, honestly. So
I mean, the guy isn't a great passer, I'll tell you that now. But it's like if you just used him how he was meant to be used, like actually let him be an athlete, maybe you win a lot of those games.
I
Just
mean,
saying. So, but it's like with Feinbaum, it's like, and if people don't know, it's based off what he said about Ohio State on ESPN, which is he said that he believes that Ohio State won't make it back to the playoffs. He thinks that we're gonna get beat by Texas. He was obviously talking some trash about one day. Obviously, this guy wants him fired. It's clear enough as today because he's talking about, oh, even a guy like me wouldn't want, because he talked about the Michigan game. Took a like when Jeremiah Smith said he wanted to didn't want to lose to Michigan again. He actually took a shot at Ryan Day, saying, hey, at least Jeremiah Smith is actually somebody who actually does his job and actually can show something for it. Where this guy Ryan Day just runs his mouth and doesn't back it up and stuff like that. Like I'm like,
Right.
dude, I mean, I can understand it because the Michigan game, because every time Randy said we're not going to lose, he's lost, is what he also brought up. But it's like, hey, Paul, if you actually also bring this up, it's the fact that Ryan Day's been cheated 3 times in the Michigan game. 2024 is no excuse, but 21 to 23, that dude lost because Michigan knew their plays. And it's like, for you to say because that Ohio State's not even going to make the playoffs, my question is, what led you to believe that? Is it because we lost like 14 players? Like, hey, all you people who keep bringing this up, when has this ever been a problem for Ohio State losing that many players? We lost 14 players in 04.
Yeah.
In the 04 draft. You know what happened the following year? We made it back to the Natty. But we lost to Florida because of Ted Glenn Jr. getting injured. But still, we made it back the year after we lost 14 guys because we still had talent on that team. So my question is, what's different about 2024? You got a whole bunch of talent left on this team back from the national championship run. I don't understand why we all thinking that Ohio State's not this good team because they lost 14 guys. I get it, but guess what? That's not new for Ohio State. When has this ever been a problem? They lose talent, but then they're always in the national title hunt. So what changed?
I mean, let's look at 2016. I mean, they lost a bunch. I mean, going into that season, they lost Zeke Elliott, Joey Bosa. I mean, look at all the NFL talent we lost, and they still put up double-digit wins. I mean, come on.
And they made it to the playoffs that year too.
I mean, to sit there and say, nah, they wouldn't make the play. I mean, that's crazy, man. Come on, look at the talent.
Yeah, even Kangaroo Black and Uncle Lou looked at that and said, okay, that's just blasphemy on a whole nother scale. And, like, because they're Alabama and Georgia fans, and as much as they're not the biggest fans of Ohio State, they respect Ohio State, and even they call that out blasphemy from Finebaum, because that is blasphemy.
All it is he's a homer, and he gets paid by the SEC to carry the SEC water, and that's all he does, and he knows, hey, if I blast Ohio State, there's going to be all kinds of people who are going to get mad and going to click on my videos. It's all for clicks. I mean, you can't sit there and say with a straight face that, oh, Ohio State's not going to make a 12-team playoff. Are you kidding me? With all the talent we have coming back, I get it that we lost a lot of players, but we have so much talent. We have the best tight end room in America. We got the best receiver room. I mean, the DB room is young, but it's got a lot of talent in it. I mean,
we might even have the Jeremiah Smith of defensive backs on that team. I'm not saying he is,
but yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people missing, but we got a lot of talent coming back, and especially with that offensive line, our offensive line's going to be nasty. We got seven guys or even 8 guys that could start. That would start.
You know what else is super funny too is when they bring up the offensive line of how much talent we miss. I'm like, are you guys aware that 4 of the 5 starters on the offensive line all played in the national title game? Are y'all aware of that?
I mean, we got 6 or 7 guys, might even be able to go 8 deep that can play. I mean, this is the best I feel about an offensive line group since I can remember. I mean, depth wise, I mean, we can lose 2 or 3 guys and still put out a competent, if not competent, but above average line. I mean, couldn't say that before. I mean, last year we were holding our breath. I mean, but Justin Fry, he taped it together, and those guys stepped up, and now
we actually realized we had depth in that offensive line, and we didn't think we did, and we realized that as the season went on. Like, we actually got depth.
I mean, now we got guys that are fighting to start, and any of them that start, I'm comfortable with. Right. And those guys that, I mean, there's a number of guys that could have start. I mean, the depth is great on the offense. Everybody's saying, well, Julian's the first-year starting quarterback. Yeah, I'll give them that, and we don't know how he really will, do under the pressure of the big lights. I mean, it's all on him now. But he doesn't have to be a superstar. With the talent he has around him, get the ball to your playmakers, let them do all the work. I
You know
mean,
what's funny? You know what's funny? These guys were sucking him off back when he was with Bama and they were hyping him up and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, now that he's with the Scarlet Gray, they say they have done a complete 180 on that. It's like y'all were just sucking him off when he was at Bama. So now
oh,
you traded the Crimson for the Scarlet Gray. Now you're talking trash about him, saying, "Oh, he's not ready. He's not good." On top of the fact that you're hyping up Arch Manning, a guy who's never played against this level of talent.
well, I'll give him. Arch Manning has one thing that
I
Saint
know
doesn't
he had.
have.
I know he played games, but think
Yeah,
about it. We're talking about a guy who played games against FCS teams. It's not like this
exactly.
guy played against freaking Ohio State, Tennessee, or any of them type of talents.
Oh, he got
You
one
didn't.
play against. He got one play against Ohio State. What happened? What happened when he went in for that one play?
He got knocked out.
He got knocked up, out.
It was, and trust me, man, it's like it was a clean hit and he got
Yep.
knocked out. It's like,
Yep.
dude, that was the type of talent you're gonna have to play against this year. Because guess what? The very guy who knocked you out while he might not be here, you got guys who could play just like him.
But I'll tell you what. I mean, Arch Manning's in kind of in the same boat that Saints in. I mean, not as they don't have as many playmakers, but he's got a great defense.
Yep.
He doesn't have to. I mean, he's got a great running game. He's got a couple receivers that are fast. He's not going to have to, be a superstar either. He's got
Oh,
playmakers that can
actually,
do it.
actually, he is because of so much pressure being put on him by the media. Meaning he's got to be that guy by
No,
their logic. Because
yeah,
I'm not saying
no.
again, you and I both believe he shouldn't get that kind of pressure. But with all the hype around him, he has to be that to live up to it.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, he comes from a famous family. Let's get it. His grandfather
It's
was an
not even
awesome.
just the fact he's a famous family. It's like, here's the thing. They're sucking him off because he's in the SEC playing for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. Which, imagine that if you're the SEC, that you had to suck off Texas. And they're a legit Big 12 team
Yeah,
who never made the playoffs until 23, who you're supposed to be better, and then got your butt kicked, except for, like, Georgia. Georgia was the one team that actually did beat Texas, like, twice.
Georgia beat him down too. It wasn't even close. I mean,
That was the only team to beat them and do it twice.
they didn't even belong on the field, Georgia, in those games. It
Nope.
wasn't even close. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Texas, they're going to be. I mean, if they get us in the first week, so be it. But it's the first week. I mean, the sky isn't falling if you lose in the first week.
Yeah,
You're
but
going to be
here's
playing
the
your
thing
best
too.
ball at the end of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's both teams are going to have two quarterbacks that are starting for starting the starting quarterback for the first time. I mean, I get it. Arch Manning had to start a couple games last year, but he wasn't the number one guy. He was the number two guy. That's all on him this year, just like it's
Yeah.
all on
Here's
Julian.
what I will say too. The other thing is though, I will say in this matchup, I will say Ohio State has an advantage. Texas doesn't know what they're gonna do, but Ohio State knows what Texas is gonna do. Because it's the same defense that they're gonna run against Ohio State, and I think Ohio State is gonna see that this time. It's the same with the offense. I think they're gonna run the same thing they did last time. Like, there may be a little bit of change-ups here and there, but I think Ohio State knows what they're going to run on offense and defense. Whereas for Texas, you don't know what Ohio State's going to do on defense. Especially with everything we've heard about Matt Patricia. Like,
Yeah.
what we've heard about some of the things he's doing in practice. Like, we started running the nose defense, but then he started adding wrinkles to it. And he's adding even more to it as training camp, or better yet, as the sessions for summer, the training camp goes on. As Ohio State, he's been adding a bunch of new stuff. So, like, you don't even know what to expect from Matt Patricia, especially with this level of talent. Because when people talk about his time with the Patriots, people have to realize that Matt Patricia didn't have the level of talent with the Patriots that he has at Ohio State. Even he said it himself. The talent that he had with the Patriots, not as good as the talent he has now. And he's looking at this like, oh, I could get creative. I could do this, this, and this with this player. I could do this, this, and this, and this player. I can do this with this player. Like, he's like a kid in a candy store. Like how Chip Kelly was when he was here at Ohio State. Never had the level of talent on offense that he had in the NFL or in college football that he had at Ohio State, and Chip Kelly was just going to work. He was like a kid in the candy store, like, oh wait a minute, I got Jeremiah Smith, I got Emeka Egbuka, I got Carnell Tate, I got the Quinshawn and Trevion, I got Will Howard, I got this offensive line, I got a good tight end room. Like, oh man, I'm gonna go to work with this. Like, let me see what I can do with this. That's what Matt Patricia's like right now with this defense.
Well, what I love about Matt Patricia is he's gonna put the players in position to be successful. He's not gonna be like Jim Knowles was. Jim Knowles was like, you're running my system.
Right.
And trying to pound a round peg into a square hole. And it took Ryan Day getting in his face after it didn't work against Oregon and making the adjustments they need. I mean, I think there's a chance 1 week he could play one style of defense and the next week he would change it up. I mean, that's just the kind of guy Matt Patricia is, where he is creative and he will take his best players and he will put them in a position so they can be successful and a chance, to make plays. And that's the only thing I would say about Texas is I think Texas is going to look different on offense because Arch Manning was a heck of a lot more.
I mean, that's the thing though. I think that they're going to do, because I think if you're Ohio State, even though you didn't quite see fully Arch Manning against you, you could look back at games that he played against even those FCS teams, and you can see how they're going to change it up, because you're like, okay, I think it's still going to be the same offense, except it's going to be, you're going to be using Arch Manning's legs, which I think Ohio State's going to be well prepared for that because they saw it in the Cotton Bowl, but they can also go back and look at the games in which he played where he used his legs a lot. So I think Ohio State's going to be like, okay, our main priority will be to do this, and this with the offense, but also to take away his legs. Even though the quarterback run game is such a overpowering for defenses, it's hard to stop.
I mean, if you look at the one thing, though, that was our weakness last year was containing the quarterback.
But
I mean, Dylan Raiola busted out.
But think about it like this, too, though. What was the biggest problem? Knowles' defense. Because it wasn't hard to contain a quarterback if you knew what you were doing.
I mean, there was a couple times, even in the playoffs where the quarterback got out on us. I mean, that was the one flaw with that defense all year, that they really just – I mean, Nico in that freaking playoff game kept Tennessee in the game, not by his passing, but because of his running and getting, key first downs with his legs. I mean,
that's why I like Matt Patricia, because I think he's going to figure out something regarding that too, where it's like, okay, this was the defense's weakness last year.
Yeah.
Let's implement stopping the quarterback as a part of that as well. And that's the other thing I love about Matt Patricia is, for Steve Sarkisian, you're going to have to be awake all night trying to figure out what the heck is Matt Patricia going to do, because you have no idea what that defense is going to do.
Sark is a very creative play caller, but sometimes he always does something stupid no matter what. I mean, he always makes a stupid play call, like last year, that last drive when they were first down and, inside the 10-yard line, and he ran that sweep. I mean, they might have been on like the 3-yard line when he ran that sweep.
I mean,
and Caleb Downs and Ransom and all those guys, they lost like it was like a 4-yard loss, 5-yard loss. I'm like, why would you run a sweep down there at the goal line? I mean, run it up the middle.
Here's the thing though, because remember Penn State tried that like 3 times. It could get it. So I think that Steve Sarkisian knew he could not run it up the middle against Ohio State. I think he knew that, but it's like, if you were going to run the ball, at least run it in a creative way where you're not going to get stuff like that. Don't do a sweep. Like, do something more creative. Or if you have to, fake like you're going to run it and then just toss it for a touchdown. At least something like that.
I mean, their running back out of the backfield killed us that game. So look for more. I would say look for more of that when we play them. That they're going to. I think Ohio
State's going to be expecting that too.
Oh, I mean,
like they saw that in that game. Like, that killed them a couple times. And remember, Ohio State eventually started catching on to that, and then it stopped becoming a factor.
Still burning for a couple touchdowns, and the core.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. It took those amount of times for them to, like, because then eventually they started looking out for that too. And it's like, because remember, the play on the goal line where Jack did the scoop and Sawyer, the legendary 85 yards through the heart of the South. Remember, they thought Sonny Styles was going to come for a blitz, and they were going to do that, pass it to the running back for a touchdown. And then he ended up covering him, because I think Ohio State saw that coming. They were like, okay, now we see, we knew you from the pool that. That's why we did that. We knew you were going to pull that. And as long as we made it look like we were going to come at you, we knew you were going to try to pull going to the running back. So that's why they did that, because I think they knew they finally caught on to it at that point that, okay, they realized exactly the pattern of how Texas was going to do that. So once they caught on to it, especially in the biggest moment of the game, they stopped it, and it led to the most legendary play that we will remember in the history books.
See,
So
the thing is Finebaum's running his mouth about Ohio State, but if you look at the SEC, either half or more than half of the teams in that league this year are all going to be starting new quarterbacks.
right.
I mean,
No,
anything can happen in that league this year. I mean, Alabama's got a new quarterback. Georgia's going to have a new quarterback. I think LSU has the one guy returning. I'm not for sure though. I think he's the one guy that has. I think that's why everybody's high on LSU is because they're returning quarterback.
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of those schools. I mean, Florida's got one returning that DJ.
DJ Lagway, who's a stud. I'm not
Always a stud. I mean, look out for Florida coming out of the SEC. But I'm just saying, a lot of those teams have brand new quarterbacks this year. So I mean, anything's up for grabs down there. If you look, I mean,
and it's kind of funny, like when we talk about it too, because like with Finebaum, it's like, dude, let's be realistic about your whole. Like, you clearly don't like Ohio State. That's fine, but don't disrespect the program. Like, let's be real. The program is what makes you money. I get that you talk about the SEC, but it's like, no, you talk about Ohio State because you know that is the biggest brand in all the sport with the biggest fan base. Like, let's be realistic when we talk about the SEC. You like to say you're the best conference, but the reality is you're not, because here's the funny thing. If you're the best conference, why are you bragging about beating a team that's not in your conference? They always brag about, because you know what I'm talking about. They always brag about their record against Ohio State. They always brag about that. And it's like, okay, Ohio State's not your conference, so why are you bragging about that? Oh, because you probably know who the bigger program is. I think you know.
Just look at the last 2 years. They haven't had an SEC team in the championship game.
Nope.
I mean, it's going on 3 years since one's been in it. I mean, come on.
Right.
The Big Ten's dominating right now. The Big Ten is the power conference.
And think about it too. It's because it's more of a level playing field. Like, y'all can't just pay players under the table no more. Everybody can do that now.
Well, and now that we see portal.
And there's the transfer portal. So now because of that, and it's fast tracked the Big Ten to the SEC, because the Big Ten's had to do more with less. Now it's the SEC's turn. You're gonna have to figure out how to do more with less. And a lot of your teams don't know how to do that.
Well, if you see they're crying down there, they want everything to be capped. They want a cap on it because they know that they don't have the money coming into the universities that the Big Ten does. I mean, they don't have the boosters. They don't have the NIL, backing that Michigan has, Ohio State has. I mean, Oregon has. I mean, right there's 3 teams that have big-time money behind them that the SEC doesn't have right now. I mean, maybe Texas because of the oil money.
And there's only 4 teams in the SEC that got that. Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Tennessee. Those are the only 4 schools. And I ain't got to tell you about Tennessee. I mean, like we already had a conversation. Yeah, because it's like, and that's what's even worse. It's like, think about it. The program that's the biggest joke in the SEC is the program that has more money than all the other SEC teams other than Texas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma.
Well, I will give Tennessee. I think Tennessee does have a great coach in place.
Yeah,
Heupel's a great coach, and you know what? I give them credit that they didn't bend to freaking Nico's demand. I mean, Nico comes in right before camp starts. And says,
but here's the thing though, you don't bend to his demand, but you paid the man $8 million coming out of high school.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have done that. That's why the whole thing with Nico started, is because you paid him that money coming out of high school. And guess what? You sued the NCAA when they tried to punish you for that. And guess what? That was on your fault. So I don't care. Like, while I commend them for not giving in.
Yeah.
While you commend them for not giving in, you also got to blame them, because at the end of the day, now you're in a worse situation from a quarterback perspective than you were in Nico. Because Nico's a better quarterback than the UCLA guy you got. I'm sorry to tell people, as much as people don't like to hear that, it's truthful. He's better than that guy. He is. He's better. And now you're in a worse situation than where you were, because you don't got your running back Dylan Stewart anymore. That defense is going to look entirely different, because a lot of your guys that are part of that defense aren't there anymore. And you have had guys hit the portal since Nico left. So it's like, you better have everything in place, because I'm telling you, if you don't, and you fall back down to earth, that's your fault. I don't feel sorry for you. That's what your
No.
dumb selves get for breaking the rules and always trying to do that. Now you see when it comes to that settlement, now you're trying to follow the rules because karma doesn't come back and hit you in the face.
And now the thing is like, who's to say that other kids aren't going to do this now? I mean, what Nico did. I would look for. I mean, what would Michigan do if freaking Underwood come to him next year and said, "Hey, before camp starts, I want 3 more million, or I'm out of here." I mean, what
Oh,
would they
they
do to
gon'
him?
they gonna bend the knee. I
You know
promise
what I
you to God.
mean? What's going to
I
stop
promise.
other kids from doing that? And
I,
that's
I
where
promise. I
these
promise you to
guardrails need
God
to be
that if
put in.
this is Michigan, I bet my money they would pay these kids. Honestly, I think all these kids would tell Michigan to give them more money, and Michigan will bend the freaking knee.
I mean, this is where the guardrails need to be put in place. This is where, you know, they have to get a handle on this. But the problem is the horse has already left the barn. I mean, the NCAA was so butthurt that they lost that case and just said, "No, you guys do whatever you want with NIL. We don't care. We don't care." Instead of working with the schools and be like, "Okay, you can you can pay these kids for name, image and likeness, but here's the guardrails." If they would have put guardrails up and made everything even for everybody, then but they were butt hurt because they didn't want to pay anybody anything. They didn't want any kids getting any money at all. They threw a fit because they lost in the court, and this is what you got. Now everything's like the Wild Wild West, and now
Yeah,
they're trying to corral everything, and it's just
and
gonna be
trust me, the NCAA did not care, and they wanted it to happen to watch these coaches bitch and moan. I'm
yeah.
sorry for my language, by the way, people. I'm sorry for that, but that's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see these coaches whine and moan about getting guardrails. It's like, hey, we tried to put guardrails, y'all didn't want it. So, hey, you know what? If you want guardrails, you can't sue us over this anymore. You're gonna have to follow whatever rules that are out there. So, I just think that's what the NCAA. And guess what? Now you are getting that where it's like there will be guardrails being put in place. Now, hopefully, the courts will uphold this,
Yeah.
and we will talk about this on Tuesday night on the Buckeye Lounge with a special guest that we have on about the restrictions as well as other topics too. But I love the fact that Ohio State's following the rules governing our health settlement, and again, we will talk about more about this on Tuesday's show.
Yeah, we're gonna. If everybody doesn't know, we're gonna have Nate from Man Coverage Podcast. He's gonna be joining us just to talk about all kinds of different topics we got going on in college football right now. We'll talk a little Big Ten, talk some Buckeyes. We'll talk, I imagine, the House settlement, just other topics that's going on in college football right now. But we basically want to talk about Finebaum and him blasting Ohio State and how he thinks the SEC is just gonna just jump back into being the power conference it was. Well, guess what, Paul? They're not going nowhere.
And like we said again, this ain't the back in the day where you could just do the Batman on the table. Like, no, everybody can play players. So now all the schools can compete with the SEC. So we're gonna find out just how good the SEC really is when it's an even playing field. Because when it wasn't an even playing field before NIL, it really wasn't. Like, y'all had a competitive advantage with paying players on the table. Y'all had an advantage. Well, now there is no advantage. Now you're gonna have to show everybody that you can play on a level playing field. And if you can't, then the SEC really ain't the best conference that everybody make it out to be.
Well, another thing, they can't stock talent like they did before because when
Mm-hmm.
these kids don't play right away, they got the transfer portal and they can transfer out without having to sit out a year.
Right.
Before, kids were stuck because if they were to leave, they would have to sit out a year. Now you
Yep.
can just go wherever you want. But for some reason, the SEC has that stupid rule where you can't transfer to another SEC school and
Which was
conference
dumb. Which was dumb.
unless the other team signs off on it. And other teams aren't going to sign off on that. So,
Right. Which
I
so I
mean,
found that so unless it's a player that they don't want. So no, of course they weren't gonna do that, which is why I said I found that so dumb of the SEC. It's like, why would you and then you don't realize like that's how also the Big Ten realizes that they're gonna take advantage of that rule, knowing that the SEC was dumb enough to put that in there. So like that's on y'all at that point.
but I mean, Feinbaum, we all know he gets paid to carry the freaking SEC's water, and he's going to trash Ohio State. He's going to trash Michigan. He's going to trash Penn State because he knows that the fan bases that they have are going to click over there. That's all clickbait, people. I mean, he does it all the time because he knows if he riles us up, what are we doing right now? making a.
I mean, is he really
about
talking about Michigan and Penn State, or is he specifically just going to target Ohio State?
Well, he targeted Michigan that year when Jim Harbaugh, he trashed Harbaugh all the time, and he trashed that
I
20.
mean, but let's be realistic. When it comes down to Michigan, I think we all know a lot of stuff. Because here's the thing. With Ohio State, the reason why we have a problem with it is because it's a bunch of, just malarkey BS. And it's just blasphemous. And even people down in the SEC know that because they're like, okay, Paul, you're just spitting blasphemous BS. Whereas in Michigan, everybody can agree they deserved all the crap that they get because they are everything that even Paul Feinbaum. Because none of us like Paul Feinbaum. Even the people down in the SEC can't stand him at times because he does say some blasphemous stuff.
He
But
hates
guess
the
what?
Big Ten. I mean, there's no doubt, right? He does.
No, there's no doubt. He is the Big Ten, but trust me, he says some blasphemous stuff that even the SEC people don't agree with.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, so trust me, he would even, but trust me, a lot of people could agree, even the Big Ten, for as much as all of us hate Paul Feinbaum, all of us Big Ten fans can agree. When it comes to Michigan and them dogging Michigan about their BS, we all can agree on that one. It's the one thing that the SEC and the Big Ten can agree on, is that Michigan, I ain't even got to go there.
Yeah. Another thing, just speaking of that school up north, watching their fans have the meltdown they had yesterday on social media because Russell, their prized 5-star receiver they claimed was going to Michigan to team up with Bryce Underwood and just win national championships, decided to go to Syracuse.
Right.
Not Notre Dame, not Ohio State, not Georgia, not Alabama, not Texas.
Syracuse.
Not
Oregon.
Not Florida State. I mean, if you're going to go to an ACC school, you'd expect them to go to at least, Florida State or even Clemson. But no.
Right.
Went to hats off to Fran Brown, man. And, Michigan people were having such a meltdown. One troll went after the kid and said, don't ever disrespect our school like that. You don't want to smoke. I mean, now they're threatening 17-year-old kids because they chose not to go to your school. Well, the reason he chose not to go to your school is, one, you don't develop receivers there. You haven't had a first-round receiver since Braylon Edwards. Two, Fran Brown's offensive system. Look how many times they threw the ball last year. How many yards did Kyle McCord have? They throw the ball like crazy, so any receiver or quarterback would want to go there because they're going to get a lot of touches. And they're going to get a lot of
matter of fact, we're going to save that for our next pre-recording because we are going to talk a lot of trash bench. We're going to save that, and I'm going to say because I'm going to want my 2 cents on it. But we are a little bit past the time here, so any final thoughts?
Just everybody, please like, share, subscribe. It's almost 6:30 right now. During this pre-record, and Michigan still sucks. So
yeah, sing Carmen, Ohio with the people you love. OH someone's IO and go Bucks. Have a great day, everybody. As we're all gonna finish this off like we all say. OH
IO, go Bucks.